Swayam Prabha. Digital India. Educated India.
Yoga Karmasu Kaushalam.
Hello students, my name is Ishan Shanolikar and today we will be discussing the system of capitalism. Let us start with the objectives of the session. First, we define and explain the fundamental concept of capitalism and its key characteristics as an economic system. Next, we analyze the historical evolution of capitalism from its origins to modern forms and understand how it has shaped contemporary business environments. Third, we identify and describe the core principles of capitalism, including private property rights, free markets, profit motive and consumer sovereignty. Fourth, we understand the market mechanisms and explain how the price system coordinates economic activity and allocates resources efficiently. Finally, we evaluate the role of government in capitalist economies and distinguish between appropriate and inappropriate government intervention before moving on to the comparison and contrasting of different types of capitalist systems practiced around the world and their implications for international business. We also critically assess the advantages and disadvantages of capitalism as an economic system and understand ongoing policy debates. We try and analyze contemporary challenges facing capitalist systems and their potential impact on future businesses, practices and career opportunities. Let us start with the introduction to capitalism as an economic system. So, capitalism is an economic system characterized by private ownership of means of production, free markets and the pursuit of profits as a primary motive and motivating factor for economic activity. In a capitalist system, individuals and businesses have the freedom to own property, make economic decisions and compete in the marketplace with minimal government interference. The term capitalism was popularized by German economist Karl Marx in the 19th century, though the system itself has been evolving for centuries. At its core, capitalism is built on the principle that private individuals rather than government should control the production and distribution of goods and services. For BBA students particularly, understanding capitalism is crucial because it forms the foundation of most modern business environments. The concepts of entrepreneurship, competition, profit maximization and market dynamics that you will be studying throughout the course are all rooted in capitalist economic theory. The capitalist system operates on the fundamental assumption that when individuals pursue their own economic self-interest, they inadvertently promote the general welfare of the society. This concept, famously described by Adam Smith as the invisible hand, suggests that market forces naturally coordinate economic activity more efficiently than central planning. Now let us move to the historical development of capitalism. The roots of capitalism can be traced back to medieval Europe, but the system as we know it today began to emerge during the Renaissance period, that is 14th to 17th centuries. The decline of feudalism and the rise of merchant classes created the conditions necessary for capitalist development. Pre-industrial capitalism, that is 16th to 18th centuries, saw the emergence of mercantilism where nations sought to accumulate wealth through trade. The establishment of joint stock companies such as Dutch East India Company demonstrated early forms of capitalist organization. Banking systems developed and the concept of lending money and interest became more widely accepted. Industrial capitalism, which was 18th and 19th centuries. The Industrial Revolution marked a significant turning point in capitalist development. The invention of machinery and the factory system transformed production methods. Adam Smith's Wealth of Nations, published in 1776, provided the theoretical foundation of modern capitalism, emphasizing the benefits of specialization, division of labor, and free markets. Now, if we look at modern capitalism, that is the 20th century to present period, the 20th century brought significant changes to capitalist systems, including the development of corporate capitalism, the rise of multinational corporations, and increased government regulation. The Great Depression of the 1930s led to greater government intervention in capitalist economies, while the post-World War II era saw the emergence of different variants of capitalism across different countries. Let us look at key historical figures in this area. So, Adam Smith, as we have seen, often called the father of modern economics, laid the groundwork for capitalist theory. David Ricardo contributed to understanding comparative advantage and trade. Later, economists like John Maynard Keynes influenced how governments interact with capitalist market. Let us look at the core principles and characteristics of this particular system. Understanding the fundamental principles of capitalism is essential for business students, as these principles directly impact how businesses operate and compete in the marketplace. First is the private property rights. So, the cornerstone of capitalism is the right of individuals and businesses to own private property, including land, buildings, equipments, and intellectual property. This ownership provides incentives for investment, innovation, and efficient resource use, and so on. Property rights must be clearly defined and legally protected for capitalism to function effectively. Free markets and competition. Markets operate with minimal government interference, allowing supply and demand to determine prices and resource allocation. Competition among businesses drives innovation, efficiency, and consumer choice. The competitive process rewards those who best serve consumer needs while eliminating inefficient producers. The pursuit of profit serves as a primary driving force behind economic activity. Businesses seek to maximize profits by minimizing costs and maximizing revenues. This profit motive encourages entrepreneurs to identify market opportunities, innovate, and take calculated risks. In a capitalist system, consumers ultimately determine what goods and services are produced through their purchasing decisions. Businesses must respond to consumer preferences to remain profitable, creating a market-driven economy. All economic transactions are based on mutual agreement between parties. Both buyers and sellers enter into exchanges because they believe that they will benefit from the transaction. This voluntary nature of exchange is fundamental to the capitalist system. While governments provide essential services like law enforcement and property protection, their direct involvement in economic activity is minimized. The government's primary role is to maintain the institutional framework that allows markets to function effectively. Individuals have freedom to choose their occupation, start business, invest their saving, and make consumption decisions. This economic freedom is both a characteristic of capitalism and requirement for its effective operation. Let us now move to market mechanisms and price system. The price system is the heart of capitalist economy, serving as the primary mechanism for coordinating economic activity and allocating resources efficiently. For business students, understanding how markets work is crucial for making informed business decisions. The interaction between supply and demand determines the market prices. When demand for product increases relative to supply, its price rises, signaling producers to increase production. Conversely, when supply exceeds demand, the prices fall, indicating that resources should be redirected elsewhere. This price mechanism ensures that resources flow in the most valued uses. Markets tend towards equilibrium where the quantity supplied equals the quantity demanded at a given price. This equilibrium represents an efficient allocation of resources as it maximizes the total benefit to both consumers and producers. Disruptions to equilibrium create profit opportunities that entrepreneurs can exploit. Prices convey information about relative scarcity and consumer preferences throughout the economy. Rising prices signal increasing scarcity of or demand, while falling prices indicate abundance or decreasing demand. These price signals guide production and investment decisions without requiring central coordination. Different market structures affect how prices are determined and how efficiently markets operate. Perfect competition leads to the most efficient outcomes, while monopolies can result in higher prices and reduced output. Understanding market structure is essential for business strategy and regulatory policy. Sometimes markets fail to allocate resources efficiently due to factors like externalities, information asymmetries, or public goods. These market failures may justify government intervention, but such intervention must be carefully designed to avoid creating new inefficiencies. Capital markets play a crucial role in capitalist systems such as financial markets by channeling saving to productive investments. Stock markets, bond markets, and banking system enable businesses to raise capital for expansion and innovation while providing savers with investment opportunities. Now let us look at the role of government in capitalist economy. While capitalism emerges minimal government intervention, the government still plays several important roles in maintaining and supporting the capitalist system. Understanding these roles is essential for business students who will operate within the regulatory framework. The government establishes and enforces the legal system that protects property rights, enforces contracts, and maintains the rule of law. Without these institutions, markets cannot function effectively. The judicial system resolves disputes and ensures that economic actors can rely on legal protections. Governments regulate certain industries to prevent market failures and protect consumers. Antitrust laws prevent monopolistic practices and promote competition. Financial regulation ensures the stability of banking and capitalist markets. Environmental regulations address negative externalities that markets may not handle effectively. The government provides public goods that markets typically underprovide, such as national defense, public education, and basic research. Infrastructure investment in roads, communications, and utilities create the foundation of economic activity. Central banks engage monetary policy to maintain price stability and support economic growth. Fiscal policy involves government spending and taxation decisions that can influence economic activity during recessions or periods of inflation. Most capitalist countries provide some form of social insurance, including unemployment benefits, healthcare programs, and retirement systems. These programs can help maintain social stability and provide security for workers in a dynamic economy. During economic crises, governments may intervene to prevent complete market collapse. The 2008 financial crisis demonstrated how government action can stabilize markets during periods of extreme volatility. The challenge for policymakers is to provide necessary government functions while preserving the market mechanisms that drive economic growth and innovation. Excessive government intervention can undermine the efficiency of capitalist systems, while insufficient government presence can lead to market failures and social instability. Now let us look at the types of capitalism. Not all capitalist systems are identical. Different countries have developed different or various methods or models of capitalism that reflect their unique historical, cultural, and political circumstances. For business students planning to work in global markets, understanding these variations is crucial. First is free market capitalism. This model, exemplified by the United States in 19th and early 20th century, features minimal government intervention, strong property rights, and maximum reliance on market mechanisms. Businesses operate within minimum regulation, and income inequality is accepted as a natural outcome of market process. Next is social market economy. Germany and other European countries have developed this model, which combines market mechanisms with strong social welfare systems. This approach maintains competitive markets while providing comprehensive social insurance and worker protection. The goal is to achieve both economic efficiency and social equity. Next is state capitalism. Countries like China and Singapore practice form of state capitalism, where the government plays a significant role in the economy through state-owned enterprises and strategic planning. Private enterprises are allowed and encouraged, but the state maintains control over key sectors and long-term economic direction. Next is Nordic capitalism. Scandinavian countries combine free markets with extensive welfare states, high tax rates, and strong labor unions. This model demonstrates how capitalist economies can achieve both high economic performance and low inequality through redistributive policies. Further, we have development capitalism. This model, used by countries like South Korea and Japan during their rapid industrialization, involves government guidance and private enterprise towards strategic development goals. The state provides direction and support while allowing market mechanisms to operate. Next, we have crony capitalism. This represents a distorted form of capitalism where business success depends on political connections than market performance. Government favoritism, corruption, and rent-seeking behavior undermine the efficiency of market mechanism. So, each model has its own advantages and disadvantages, and the appropriate model for a country depends on its specific circumstances, values, and development objectives. Business students should understand these variations to better navigate international business environments. Now let us look at the advantages and disadvantages of this system. A balanced understanding of the system requires examining both strengths and weaknesses. This analysis helps students to appreciate the complexity of economic systems and ongoing debates about economic policy. The advantages include economic efficiency, that is, competitive markets generally allocate resources more efficiently than central planning. The motive encourages businesses to minimize costs and maximize value creation. Price signals guide resources in their most productive uses without requiring extensive bureaucratic coordination. Further, some of the advantages include innovation and entrepreneurship, consumer choice, economic freedom, wealth creation, and so on. So, the disadvantages include income inequality, market failures, economic instability, short-term focus rather than long-term, externalities, and so on. Now, let us look at the contemporary challenges and future outlook of capitalism. As capitalism continues to evolve in the 21st century, several challenges and opportunities are reshaping how the system operates. Business students need to understand these trends to prepare for future careers in an evolving economic landscape. Technological disruption, where digital technologies, artificial intelligence, and automation are transforming how businesses operate and compete. These challenges and changes create new opportunities for innovation and efficiency, but also raise concerns about job displacement and market concentration. The rise of platform companies like Amazon, Google, and Facebook have created new forms of market power that challenge traditional antitrust thinking. Globalization and trade, international trade and investment have integrated national economies to an unprecedented degree. The globalization has created new opportunities for business expansion and specialization, but has also increased economic interdependence and vulnerability to global shocks. Trade wars and protectionist policies represent challenges to the global capitalist system. Next important aspect is environmental sustainability. Climate change and environmental degradation pose significant challenges to traditional capitalist models that may not adequately account for environmental costs. Sustainable business practices, carbon pricing, and green technology investment represent attempts to address these challenges within the capitalist frameworks. So, more or less, these are the key areas in which currently the capitalist system is evolving, and there are many such aspects of capitalism that can be considered based on the characteristics which we have seen. So, it would be interesting for BBA students to connect those characteristics with these key areas in which the system is evolving. I hope you understood and enjoyed the session. Thank you so much.